So here in California, for the most part, all of the bars and restaurants are closed. You can still get takeout, but you can't go and sit and eat in. And nobody's really going to the mall right now. It's just too confining. But you can still have that hankering for Auntie or Wetzel's pretzels. So at my local Albertsons, I found Auntie Anne's pretzel dogs. And I thought, okay, so I bought the box, had one, and they're not too bad. But I thought, I bet I can make these. In my hot kitchen, I thought, I'm gonna try making these. And let's see if we're successful. Pretzel dough is a really easy, basic dough. Flour, water, yeast. But I add a little bit of a couple of extra things, and I'm going to show you how I make my pretzel dough. So in the bowl is going to go 4 cups of flour. I'm getting a little weird and I'm going to use 3 different types of flour. I don't know. To me it makes the best pretzel. I'm putting 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to put 1 cup of whole wheat flour. I kind of think this really gives it that real pretzel-y bite, the whole wheat flour. I really like this. And then I'm going to do a cup of bread flour. And the bread flour is going to give it that chewiness that you want from a pretzel, you know what I mean. And that's a lot of flour, but so to my 4 cups of bread flour, I'm going to add a little bit of molasses. Not a huge amount of molasses, about a tablespoon. And this is going to give it just that little bit of earthy sweetness that pretzels have, and a little bit of that color, because I kind of want that color. I find when I do these seem a little light. And then the yeast. So I have a cup of water, and I have yeast that's blooming, and I'm going to add this to my flour. And now all this is going to be popped in the stand mixer, and I'm going to mix. And then after that, it has to rise. And it is 99 degrees today, so it's gonna rise in no time flat. And in fact, if I really wanted to, I could put my dough in the refrigerator and let it do a slow rise, because that is going to build up more of those pretzel-y flavors that we love. It just gives it a better chew, but I think I want pretzels, so. A couple hours later, in a hot kitchen, and I have really luscious dough. I love this dough. So I'm going to turn my dough out onto a little bit of flour, and I'm going to make some cuts so it's easier to work with. And you can do all sorts of things with pretzel dough. You can make pretzels, rolling it out into a long log. And you want to make sure that your dough has rested enough. I might actually roll some out and then kind of let them set for a minute. That really does help them. A little bit of extra flour. So I'm just kind of getting them, almost conditioning it. I know that that's not a real baking term, but it's like you're conditioning the dough. I'm just getting it to think. It needs to start rolling out. It feels really good though, really good and elasticy, and it's gonna be gorgeous dough here in a couple of minutes. One trick that I learned is that I'm gonna use toothpicks and stab one in so I can roll it around. And you want to make sure that your dough is pretty thin as you can get it, because it will puff up. And even if it breaks, big deal. Just keep rolling. And then if you have a little bit of extra, you just pinch it off on the end. And I have beef brats, Johnsonville beef brats. The pretzel dough is so awesome. You can make them sweet. You can sprinkle sugar, cinnamon. You can do pie spice. You can do whatever you want on these things. You can also make them as savory as you want. You can one thing that I really love, and which I'll do, is everything bagel seasoning. That's absolutely delicious. So as you can see, those easy ingredients come together really, really well, and they make a really wonderful pretzel. But you know how you get the actual pretzel of the pretzel dough is that you're gonna have to boil it. So I boiled it in hot water and baking soda. Plain old Arm & Hammer baking soda, a good tablespoon. So you just put the pretzels in the water, you let them boil. They're actually boiling about 15 seconds per side, no more than 30 seconds per the entire pretzel. I use a shallow pan because to me this is easier to get in and out of. When you boil the pretzels, they puff up and they really give you that chewy pretzel feeling. My hot dog, I'm going to put various seasonings. So this is my everything but the bagel seasoning. And I can just use plain salt too. Pop that into a 425-degree oven for about 12 minutes. So that was a really long, hot day when we made those pretzels. But I made them again, and they come out so crispy, they come out chewy, they really are delicious, and as you can see, they're incredibly easy to make. So are they as good as Auntie Anne's? Let's try. They're really good, and you can put whatever you want on them. That's the great thing about doing something at home, is that it will cost a little bit less, but also you can add whatever seasonings, you can make it however you want. It's nice that you can kind of control everything, the salt level, the sugar level, the sweetness, whatever, and it's a little bit cheaper to make them at home also. So thank you for coming and coming back to my quarantine kitchen. It's another hot day here in southern Central California, and we're still in quarantine, but we're gonna be okay because we have our pretzel dogs. Subscribe, like, and do come back because you never know what this quarantine kitchen is going to think of. Bye!